January 22nd, 1879. In the heart of Zululand, a technologically superior British army stood confident. By sunset, around 1,300 of their troops would be dead, wiped out by warriors armed with spears and shields. How did one of the most powerful empires on Earth suffer one of its most shocking defeats? This is the story of the mistakes, arrogance, and battlefield brilliance that led to the annihilation at the Battle of Isandlwana. In the late 1870s, Britain wanted to create a confederation of territories in southern Africa under imperial control. The greatest obstacle was the powerful Zulu kingdom. British High Commissioner Sir Henry Bartle Frere viewed the Zulu military as a threat and deliberately engineered a reason for war. He presented King Cetshwayo with impossible demands intended to dismantle the Zulu army. When the ultimatum expired, British forces under Lord Chelmsford invaded Zululand. Chelmsford's soldiers carried the Martini Henry rifle, a devastating firearm in disciplined hands. British officers believed their technology, artillery, and volley fire made them unbeatable, and they fatally underestimated their enemy. The Zulu army, known as the Impi, was a disciplined fighting force of more than 20,000 warriors. Though some possessed firearms, their primary weapons remained short stabbing spears and large hide shields. They were masters of mobility, terrain, and coordinated battlefield tactics. On January 20th, Chelmsford camped beneath a hill called Isandlwana. There, he made two catastrophic errors. First, he ignored standard military procedure and failed to fortify the camp with defensive positions. Then, on the morning of January 22nd, misleading intelligence convinced him to split his army. He marched away with nearly half his troops on a mission, leaving the camp dangerously exposed. While Chelmsford was absent, British scouts accidentally discovered the entire hidden Zulu Impi. The warriors attacked immediately, deploying their famous Horns of the Buffalo formation. The center, or chest, pinned the British frontally, while the flanking horns swept around both sides to encircle them. Colonel Pillane hastily formed his soldiers into a long, thin firing line, with little defensive support. At first, disciplined British volleys devastated the charging Zulus, but the warriors kept advancing with extraordinary determination. Then the situation collapsed. Historians now believe ammunition shortages were less important than tactical failure. The overstretched British line was steadily outflanked, cutting off retreat routes and collapsing unit cohesion. Once the line broke, the battle turned into a massacre. When Chelmsford returned that evening, he found over 1,300 dead soldiers scattered across the battlefield. The disaster shocked the British Empire and shattered the myth of colonial invincibility. Britain would eventually win the war, but Isandlwana remained a brutal lesson in the dangers of arrogance, poor leadership, and underestimating an enemy.